Here we go. All right. Aloha. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining, friends, dreamers within the dream, fellow shifters of this holographic matrix. My name is Brendan, aka Skull Babylon, aka Wolf, Wolf Shield, Mystic Spider-Man. You're tuned in for another live tarot readings with Wolf, and thank you so much for those of you joining. If you are joining right off the start, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, welcome. If it's your first time here, get ready because we're going to get right into some tarot readings. And if you would like to be able to get a tarot reading, here are the simple instructions. We choose someone from the chat for the first reading. And so if you would like a reading, drop a 333 in the chat and share this broadcast. Once we get at least over 10 people tuned in on the Facebook, then we will pull the first card. And yeah, if you're here for the first time, then welcome. And we've been doing these for the past few days. And this is an awesome way for us to be able to cultivate some very powerful insight and inspiration for the community. So aloha and welcome everyone so much for joining in. So go ahead and just leave some comments down below in the chat to let me know that you are there. And again, if you would like a reading on air, all you have to do is share this broadcast with your friends, drop a 333 in the comments, and then stand by for further instructions. And for those of you tuning in on Instagram, please feel free to jump over to my Instagram story, the latest one, and swipe up, and you can tune in on YouTube there. So, let me just fix the. I'm just gonna post swipe up in my story. I'm just painting the post here on my Instagram. Sweet. All right. So thanks again, everyone. Wishing you an awesome day. We've been having a great time doing these broadcasts, and again, doing these broadcasts is a team experience. It's a team effort. So please feel free to share this broadcast with your friends if you would like to be able to get a reading on air, and we're going to get right into that. And give me 2 seconds as we just take an extra moment here to be able to share this broadcast to a couple pages. I recently, I got limited, aka banned, from temporarily sharing to Facebook groups. So therefore, if you know like any cool groups, like any cool like spiritual groups, please share this broadcast in the group. Even if you're not even looking for a reading, like if you're just a person, if you're one of our regular people who tune in, you know the routine. And if you know some cool spiritual groups, please share it in there. And try not to share it in too many or also get blocked like me, but I'm only blocked until like September 30th, so it's not too huge of a deal. And again, just give me 2 seconds here. I'm just sharing this on a couple pages. Good morning. Thank you so much. Hey, Sheila, good morning. Tuning in from Alaska once again. I like how people are making this a routine, right? They're just like, I'm going to start my morning by tuning in and waking up with Wolf. So again, I'm just giving us an extra minute to be able to allow people to join in. But if you are here and you would like to be able to get a reading, all you have to do is share this broadcast with your friends. These are the instructions. Share this broadcast with your friends. Drop a 333 into the comments down below and stand by for the next instructions. And we'll be doing the first reading in the next moment. And yeah, thank you again so much, everyone, for joining in and for being here. So let me just keep the chat open. So yeah, aloha to, hey, Matthew, if you're still here, Manuel, again, Sheila, one of our recent Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. And Danon and Kimberly, sending love and peace and blessings from Kansas, USA. Thank you, Kimberly. And aloha to Sylvie Girl, tuning in on YouTube, and Kay, tuning in on YouTube as well. And hey, Samantha, thanks so much for joining in. Again, these broadcasts are a great way for us just to be able to get to like know each other and connect and inspire one another. So there's a lot of value that we are creating through these broadcasts. So this is the deck that we use. This is the Ananda tarot deck, and we're going to get it right into this first reading. So again, if you would like to be able to get a reading, let me know by dropping a 333 in the comments and sharing this broadcast. So those are the instructions. So it's quite simple, right? That way, so more people get a chance to be able to tune into the inspiration that we are creating here. And we'll be live for at least 90 minutes, and we'll probably do about 3, maybe 4 readings in total. And we'll get right into this first reading once we see how many people here are looking for a reading. So if you haven't already yet, share this. Even like, again, don't just, if you want to share it once, absolutely, that's perfect. If you want to share this to like 4 different groups, that's great. We've done broadcasts like this where there's been like 50 people tuned in, and then you like, that's a very, very powerful space for us to be able to hold as community, to be able to bring forth some very, very important inspiration. So it's very cool for us to be able to see what the universe has ready for us during these broadcasts. So that's kind of the intention, is that when we do these are team broadcasts. They're not so much just individual broadcasts. This is like a team broadcast that we do here as well. So Sylvie, I see you in the YouTube chat asking if you can ask a question. The way how we do this, once we pull a card for someone in the chat, we set the intention of show me what I need to see. So I don't necessarily, like the readings that I do, it's not so much like fortune telling. It's more so much like a mirror for us to be able to see parts of ourselves and to get additional inspiration and insight. And so when we do these, I just invite people to be open to the intention of show me what I need to see, or show us what we need to see. So again, aloha, everybody joining in, Manuel, Kimberly, Brandon, and Matthew again, and also Colleen. Hey, Colleen. Good morning, fellow local friend. Thank you so much for joining in. So, okay. All right, so we're going to do the first reading, and here are the instructions. If you haven't already yet, share this broadcast. So that's always number one. And even if you're not looking for a reading, absolutely, like, help out behind the scenes by sharing this broadcast so more people can also tune in. And these are the next instructions. These are the next instructions. Thank you, Sylvie. I see that. Thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't yet, like, you can like the video. Like, that's kind of a bonus, but absolutely. If you enjoy what you're here for, then please feel free to subscribe, because there's a lot of other awesome content here. And real quick, if I haven't met you yet, if this is your first time meeting me, my name is Brendan. I'm a conscious media creator. I'm an award-winning Canadian filmmaker. I've been creating inspirational consciousness shifting media for over 10 years to be able to help assist and accelerate the shift, to be able to help build a global team of shifters. And yeah, I've done over 600 live broadcasts. I've made full-length movies. I've done a lot of like free hugs videos and lots of other awesome stuff, and you can check all that out at my YouTube. And also, the way how this works is we'll do the first reading for someone from the chat, and then the next reading, if someone wants to jump the line, we'll also be able to do that by signing up for the Patreon, and I'll give you a little bit more information about that. So if you would like to be able to like get on the list, then you can sign up for the Patreon. And during this broadcast, our intentions are to be able to like provide awesome value for the community, while also being able to help invite people to support on the Patreon. And our objective is to get 2 new Patreon signups during this broadcast. And again, when we do these are like community readings. So here are your instructions. Share this broadcast if you haven't yet. I see people doing that. Thank you. And this is the next part. I'm going to give you a number. So if you would like to be able to get a reading, pay attention. These are the instructions. I'm going to give you a number, and the 5th person to enter this number into the chat will be the first person who we do our first reading for today. So the number that you are going to type into the chat for today, and don't enter it in right away. Like, there's a strategy to this. You have to listen to your intuition. That's kind of the idea. The number you're going to enter is 777. So type 777 and then take a breath. Everybody here, because you want to be the 5th person and only enter it once. Don't spam it. Only enter it once. And just take a breath, and then when you're ready, like, hit enter. And there's multiple chats here, so I'll let you know who the 5th person is, because there's multiple chats. There's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Twitch, there's even Instagram as well. So the 5th person, and you can only enter it in once, the 5th person to enter in 777 into the chat will be the first person who we do the reading for. But again, I remind you that, like, don't be discouraged if you're just like, oh, I didn't get the reading, because again, simply by being here, this is like a team reading. There's something for you simply by being here. So it's a very, very cool way for us to be able to do it as a community in that way. So, all right, here come the 777. So I'm keeping an eye on things, and I'll let you know once we have all of them. And all right, so the first person that we are doing a reading for today is going to be Kay. So thank you so much, Kay, for being here, and for everybody as well. And Kay is in the YouTube chat, so thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. So again, so what we're going to do here, we're going to do the first reading for Kay. The objective here is to do at least like 2 or 3 readings, so please feel free to stick around. We're going to be doing another live broadcast later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been doing like a few of these at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. And part of the reason why we're doing this so frequently over the last little bit is because we're also, again, working on being able to help raise more support through the Patreon. And Patreon is a way for people to support artists with monthly micro donations. So we're going to do the first reading here for Kay. And then the next reading will be for the first person who signs up for the Patreon in the next like few minutes. And it only takes you about 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon, and I'll post a link in the chat for that. And aloha to those of you tuning in on Instagram. You can swipe up on my story, tune in. And real quick, when you sign up for the Patreon, you can also get super awesome Light Guardian crystals as a pay what you wish. So how much do one of these cost? As much as you wish to pay once you sign up for the Patreon. And you also get other cool items, other cool discounts for other items from our quest item shop, including the shift buttons, which are tools to use to help evoke synchronicity. So if you're interested in these Light Guardian crystals, they're handmade, they're super cool. And again, sign up for the Patreon to get that next reading on air, to add your support to the value we're creating here, and to be able to get all sorts of other cool, awesome discounts. And if you sign up at the $11 level, then you can also get a Lumerian Light Guardian crystal. And I'll show you that a little bit later. But let's get right into this reading. So thank you again, everyone, for holding space and for, making this a part of your routine. So again, I invite everybody here. So Kay, let me know in the chat if you're ready. Just be like, I am ready. And for everybody here, let's just bring ourselves into our heart space. Allow yourself to connect with your breath. Like, this is a shared experience that we're doing here. So allow yourself to connect with your breath. Deep, gentle inhales here together. Relax your shoulders, straighten your spine. Nice big exhale. Just bring yourself into that place of gratitude. As you're in your heart, just allow yourself to be open. And K, for you and for everybody, I invite you to bring yourself into the awareness of the intention of show me what I need to see. So for everybody here, practice doing this, because this is like a shared reading, like I said. So we got collective energies that we're working with here. And if this is your first time here, there's like some pretty cool magic that we're actually working with right here. So K in the YouTube chat, thank you again for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. Focus on the intention of show me what I need to see. And hold that intention. Take a few more breaths. And I'm going to charge up the deck a little bit more here with some conscious flowetry. And then from there, K, what you're going to do, very simply, you're going to type now into the chat once you're ready. So take a few more breaths, take your time. Again, everybody here, imagine we're kind of sitting in a circle together. We're putting our intentions together. Show me what I need to see. Show us what we need to see. And so as we wake up together, we shall rise. As we reach our arms up towards the sky in celebration of this life, in celebration of the magic within, in the connection that we share as eternal kin. And so my brothers, my sisters, my fellow children of the earth, let us be here in this moment to celebrate our rebirth as consciousness awaking to itself within this dream. For us to be able to see more of what can be seen, for us to open our hearts, for us to share our art, for us to be able to help transmute all the darkness, for us to be able to bring forth all the love. And so as we take another breath here, we wait for Kay to type now into the chat, and then we shall pull another card and we shall see what message the cosmos has. Do you guys like my sound effects? So, Kay, when you're ready, you can type now into the chat. And for everybody here, thank you for holding space for this. We're doing this together as a team. We're just taking another extra breath here, and there it is. Now, says Kay. And then just like that, we split the deck and we pull the card for the first reading. So here we go. So, all right. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And I'm just going to charge up this card with our Lumerian Light Guardian crystal. So, perfect. All right. Thank you again, Kay. So the first card that we are pulling for today is Swords 5. And again, this is from the Ananda Tarot deck. And for those of you who may be entirely new to tarot, again, I like being able to just kind of like give people a little bit more insight. And I like the idea that by them watching this, they can be like, hey, maybe I'm going to start practicing tarot too. Maybe I can do tarot too and stuff like that. So I hope this inspires people simply by tuning into this, because I think tarot is a very it's a very powerful but also very simple thing. You know, it's a way for us to be able to communicate with it's for the universe to be able to communicate with us through the language of symbols. So for everybody here, go ahead and just feel free to like drop some comments of gratitude. Again, your comments in the chat are always appreciated, and use this as a space to be able to connect with each other. If anybody here even just wants to like share their Instagrams, like put your @ sign and write in your Instagram, please feel free to do that and connect with each other. Again, use this space to build as a team, to build as community. That's why we're here. Again, if you haven't yet, be sure to check out paradigmshiftcentral.com. That's the project I facilitate, and it's about building a global team of light guardians, of shifters, people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. And so that is why we do these broadcasts, to be able to help inspire us as light guardians, as shifters. That is the intention. So we're going to get right into this first reading, and then we're going to keep an eye open for the first donation on the Patreon, and I'll just post a link in the chat for that one more time. So for while people are listening to this, if you want to be the next person in line, go ahead and check out the Patreon. Don't rush it. Check out like the stuff that I'm doing, and then you can sign up there with a monthly micro donation. And again, you can also get your super dope light guardian crystals. This is one of the Lemurian ones. And yeah, and if you do have any questions, let me know. And again, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. So again, we'll do this first reading, and then the next reading will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And our objective is to be able to get 2 new Patreon signups during this broadcast. And if we get 3 new Patreon signups, then we will do a special reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck. So we'll work towards that. So thank you again, everyone. And for those of you, if you're signing up in the Patreon, just let us know. Let us know in the comments. And again, we'll move right into this reading. So, Kay, thank you so much for being here. And especially for anybody here who's here for the first time. Kay, is it your first time here? No, I don't think it is. I recognize your name. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And I'm going to get right into deciphering, is that the word? Sure. Talking about this card here, and we'll see what type of wisdom it comes through. And again, for everybody here, if you haven't yet, keep sharing this link, the broadcast. Like for those of you on Facebook, share it to groups so that more people can tune into the wisdom. People are going to synchronistically tune in right now, and then they're going to hear what we're talking about, and they're going to be like, whoa, this was synchronicity. I needed to hear this. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so 5 of Swords. So looking at the actual image here, what do we got? So we've got 5 swords, 3 in the front, 2 kind of behind, and they kind of got like a transparent look to them, and they're floating above the horizon, and you can see like this landscape down below with these trees. There's no leaves on the trees, and then you can see kind of like some rolling hills, and the sky kind of goes from a misty haze up into kind of like a darkened color on the sky, but there's no stars, so it's not necessarily like fully like a twilight nighttime. So again, that's just the literal explanation of what the card actually is. So yeah, and again, this is we've been getting a lot of sword cards lately, so the universe is definitely like teaching us something about the sword cards here. Hey Rebecca, good morning, thanks again for joining. All right, so we're gonna get right into this. So for everybody here, reminder, this reading is for you. This card is for you. We pull these cards as a team, so this is a way for us to be able to check in with the cosmic forecast, to be able to see what the universe has for us in this moment. So Kay, for everybody here, invite you to open your hearts. Thank you again, everyone, so much for tuning in. We'll keep an eye open for that first Patreon sign up, and just listen with your heart for what this message has. We'll read from the book, and then we'll go into it a little bit further. 5 of Swords. The image. 5 swords pointing in different directions hover in front of a cloudless sky over a landscape bathed in surreal colors. Meaning. Well, the 4 of Swords indicates a path to inner truth. The 5 of Swords indicate obtaining wisdom. In the sense of further development and growth, it becomes unavoidable in certain developmental phase for the individual to fight for this wisdom under contrary circumstances. Sometimes the experience of pain and suffering is necessary. I'll just reread that. In the sense of further development and growth, it becomes unavoidable in a certain developmental phase for the individual to fight for this wisdom under contrary circumstances. Sometimes the experience of pain and suffering is necessary. In the circle of life and death, everything follows a natural path. The intelligence of nature does not know good or bad. In the limitless reaches of the universe, nothing is lost, nor is there any overabundance. Life itself, as the formless one, is indestructible. while the diversity of outer forms is constantly subject to change. Thinking in greater dimensions gives insight into the deeper connections of life and makes so many conflicts unnecessary that under certain circumstances could end in a painful experience. Here, the ability to obtain deep insights from difficult situations is developed by putting together the quintessence of thoughts and experiences as well as the corresponding consequences. I'm going to reread that. Here, the ability to obtain deep insights from difficult situations can be developed by putting together quintessence of thoughts and experiences as well as the corresponding consequences. The meaning finally lies in the fertile evaluation of the obtained realization. Astrological significance: Mercury, Mars, quintile aspects. Keywords: finding the quintessence, taking the consequences, constructively using realizations, gaining wisdom, concentrating on the important. Traditional meaning: fighting, surrender, conflict, thought exchange, refusal. Very interesting. So this is a very, 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 very important card and a very important concept for us to be able to look at and to reflect on as a team. And so for Kay, and again, for everybody here, for those of you who are just joining in, right as we're doing this reading, welcome. Thank you so much. And allow yourself to just be open to what we're talking about here, because there's a very powerful message here. And it's one that I wish more people were able to have, but it's only one that can really be developed through direct experience. And basically this message is this idea that pain and suffering and hurt in itself is not necessarily a quote-unquote bad thing. Now, of course, that's going to be something that we kind of have to take from a subjective perspective, and I'm not trying to be absolute with that, but it's more so from this, again, what this card is referring to, is encouraging us to do, is to see things from the higher perspective, to see things from the perspective of the one, and to see that from this higher perspective, there is no good or bad. There only is. And what is a process of infinite growth. And so in the same way that sometimes forest fires happen, in order to be able to bring more nutrition to the soil so that new life can actually grow. It's a simple idea that, without it being this extreme, but the fate of destruction is the joy of rebirth. When you clear what needs to be cleared, you make room for what is ready to grow. You make room for something new. It's kind of like this idea. This is just kind of a metaphor that's coming off the top of my head. But say you have a garden. And say you've been growing this garden for quite some time, but then maybe you didn't really tend to it to the best of your ability. And now over time, say you left for a little bit and you came back, and now there's more kind of weeds kind of in the garden. Things are kind of overgrown. There's things kind of just folding into each other. It looks a little bit messy, And because of this, it's actually reached a point where it's almost preventing the garden from growing properly. Now, what you would want to do in that circumstance as a gardener, and again, this is more of a metaphor for our lives, is to be able to acknowledge this and just be able to look at this garden, aka our life, our situation, and just be okay, is this, does this need some readjustment? And what do you do? How do you readjustment? By taking things out, by removing the weeds, by cutting things back, by trimming things, by moving things around. And again, from the perspective of the plants, if we're thinking about the idea that plants have feelings too, then you can almost assume that it's just from our perspective, it's oh, we're just doing what needs to be done. We're just cleaning up the garden. But from the plant's perspective, it's there's some pain there, man. You're ripping things out of the dirt, you're taking things out, you're moving things around, you're cutting things, you're trimming things off. And it's going to hurt, again, from the perspective of the plant. And it might hurt you a little bit if you're super, super empathetic. You're I'm sorry, my babies. But by the time you're done doing that, suddenly the garden looks much more clear, much more clean. There's new channels, there's new avenues, there's new places for you to be able to plant things that you couldn't possibly plant before. Because say before, you're oh, I got this seed, I'm going to plant it. And then you try and plant it and there's thorns growing over it. And you're just oh no, I can't plant here. What do we need to do? We need to remove things. We need to be able to understand that in the same way we are the gardeners of our garden, metaphorically, it's like the consciousness, the one, God, whatever you want to refer to that as, universal intelligence, is also kind of seeing our life in the same way. And oftentimes, like, that will happen where pain serves a purpose in our life. And what does it mean when we are actually able to like show up with that deep understanding and that deep wisdom of knowing even beforehand that pain is actually a part of the progress, that pain is actually a part of the growth, that pain in itself is actually a catalyst, and it can very well be thought of as like a bigger part of the story that is actually helping us learn more about how to be able to love ourselves and how to be able to love the process. So again, like this card, here is the ability to obtain deep insights from difficult situations can be developed by putting together the quintessence of thoughts and experiences as well as the corresponding consequences. So in the immediate experience, it can be challenging for us to see the big picture. And that's why the pain is so real, because it's so in the moment. It's so now. But what if like you were going through a difficult situation and then like, say like, again, this is more just a metaphor. Say like an angel comes to you and it just kind of tells you and just be like, hey, like I've seen the future and it's going to be okay. Like it's going to be okay. And in fact, it's going to be even more like beneficial than you even know. Like this is actually happening for a very important reason. And we want you to be able to experience this from kind of like the illusion of uncertainty, from the illusion of not knowing how things will turn out, because then it becomes real, because then it becomes felt. You don't just want to bypass the experience. You don't want to just kind of be like, oh, like I'm going to ignore my pain. I'm going to ignore my feelings. And because I know that everything's going to work out, but maybe things only work out quite in the way they're meant to when we are kind of going through this process where there is this degree of uncertainty, but it also calls in this deeper sense of trust and knowing based on like the patterns of the universe that this is a common thing. But it's important for us to feel. It's important for us to feel the pain. And if we bypass the pain, then we're bypassing the lessons. And again, the pain is also a way for us to be able to see where we need to send more love within ourselves. So again, that's why like even when it comes to like relationships, when we break up out of a relationship, first of all, I've said this before, but I think of breakups in relationships more as breakthroughs. It's a vibrational thing. That in itself is like a huge paradigm shift. But when it comes to relationships and we feel that hurt in our heart after a relationship, and maybe it kind of like ended on maybe there's like maybe there's some hard way for it to end on. And it's very unlikely that like most relationships end without there being some kind of pain. But again, sometimes that pain can actually be like a very beautiful thing. It can reflect the fact that you care. Like you're feeling these feelings, not because you did something wrong, not because you're a bad person, but because you care so deeply. And can you honor that? Can you honor the idea that you feel so deeply because you're such a loving, infinite being? And that is your birthright. That is your process. And again, when we go through heartbreaks in relationships, and just using that as a metaphor for the pain, it's also a way for us to be able to feel that pain and to be like, yes, that's my body telling me that that's where I need to be able to send more love to myself. And so if you get out of a relationship and you're feeling this pain, the best way to be able to heal it is by focusing on nurturing yourself, focusing on loving yourself. And that's where sometimes in relationships, again, it can be very painful when we're kind of moving out from a codependent relationship and we're just like, oh, that person completed me. And that person was like such a big part of my life and everything like that. But now, without that person there, the universe is just like also sending you away to be able to be like, through this pain, we want you to see that you are capable of creating wholeness within yourself, that you can cultivate that within yourself. And that is a gift that you can only learn through the pain. That is a gift that you can only learn through like that uncomfortableness. So we need to understand in a deep way. I invite everybody here, I invite you, Kay, and everybody here to be able to practice that deeper wisdom. Again, that's what this card's about. It's about obtaining wisdom, obtaining a deeper wisdom of being able to practice seeing the silver linings, of being able to practice trusting the process, of being able to understand that things are unfolding for a reason, even if you don't fully see it at the time. But can you practice trusting that? And again, even in the midst of your pain, this is such a powerful idea, but I want you to, even in the midst of pain, because this has been helpful for me in times when I've been like, kind of like, oh man, like this isn't fun, this is uncertain, but to bring in that wisdom of still understanding that this is the perfect reality for you. And again, with the wisdom of understanding that this reality, this universe, it's not just here to make you happy, it's here to evolve your consciousness. And understand the difference in that. If you were just happy all the time, you wouldn't grow. Like there would be like a huge amount of growth that would just be like left out of the equation. And so again, I think in like some cases, people kind of get into this idea that God only equates to happiness. And that's why people are like, why does God make bad things happen and things like that? But then meanwhile, God, and again, I'm using this more of just like a metaphor, is kind of there. And it's just like, oh yeah, those times when like it felt uncomfortable and it felt like pain. What if I told you that was actually important for your growth? And that's why it was there. That's why it was there. And that in itself makes it a gift. It all becomes a gift. And so in this, I'll just say this, and we'll kind of wrap up this reading. If you can practice having as much gratitude for the challenging times as you do for the less challenging times, for the graceful times, for the easier times, that is a powerful shift. That is a powerful shift that it will accelerate the way in which you learn. It will accelerate the rate in which you grow. It will accelerate the message that you send out to the universe and the impact that you have on the lives around you. Imagine that, where like someone like sees you going through a challenging time, but then they also see your like optimistic attitude. And again, being optimistic and having this wisdom doesn't mean you're not feeling the feels. If anything, it means you're feeling the feels even more. But again, can you actually like just kind of remove yourself from the situation and feel the feels, and understanding that even in those deep places of pain and suffering and emotions, that's like us getting like super close to God, to the universe, to ourselves, to oneness. It's like the membrane becomes super thin and you feel so much. And there should be a part of you that's just like, oh my goodness, I'm grateful that I can feel this as a human. I'm grateful that I can feel this, because in the same way I can feel the lows, that means I can feel the highs, and it goes both ways in that sense. So again, K, for you, I think this is a very powerful card to remind you of your inner strength and your natural knowing of this wisdom, and for you to just be reminded of this, and for any of those little challenges, for you to be a leader for yourself, and to be able to practice trusting the process, to practice feeling the feels, extracting the lessons, paying attention, for you to be able to honor what is required for a garden to grow, and for you to not necessarily like avoid uncomfortable situations, but to actually be able to honor them from the bigger vision of what they are serving within our story of how it's going to help our garden grow. And again, like that's why like this card, like again, it refers to the idea of like pain and things like that. But again, like you can also just think of this as uncomfortableness at the same time. And as we talked before, it's like, oh, what? Like, yeah, uncomfortableness, you want that. You actually want to be able to seek that within your life in healthy ways. There's actually healthy ways to be able to bring in more uncomfortableness into your life without it being pain, without it being suffering. So again, this is a great example that I'll just kind of share with you that's kind of just like from my personal experience. And Vanessa, thank you so much for joining in. Good to see you again. I love getting the regular people in here. So going back to the heart, I love being able to use metaphors of the heart, because everybody here, they've all gone through relationships and we've all learned something. There's one experience where I was with a partner, and we cared about each other very deeply, and it was a very short relationship, and it was only like 2 months. And then after that relationship, they started dating a close friend of mine, and it wasn't like a something where there was like any animosity, but there was a degree of uncomfortableness. And then there was like a local dance event that was happening, and I wanted to go to it. I genuinely wanted to go to it, but at the same time, I knew that they were both going to be there. And this was still like not too long after the initial breakup. And from my perspective, there's a part of me that's just like, yo, I don't want to go to that event if they're going to be there, because I don't want to see them and I don't want to feel those feelings, and I know it's just going to be uncomfortable for me. Instead, what I did, I adapted this narrative of understanding that I actually want, where there was uncomfortableness, there was actually a gift. There was actually a gift for me there. And I'm just like, what would be the bravest thing for me to do? The bravest thing for me to do would be to go to this dance party and to be there for myself as an act of love. And then at the same time to practice being in the same space as them and to just see them as human and to see them as friends and to still like love both of them. And to really just give myself that gift. And that's what I did. So instead of just avoiding the circumstance and not going outside my comfort zone, I intentionally went where I was uncomfortable. And that night was an awesome night. And I ended up dancing with both of them. And it was a very cathartic thing. And we were just like, wow, okay, this is great. And I'm really grateful for like all of us. And I'm grateful for the lessons because, and I said this to him, I'm like, eventually later on, I'm like, this experience of our breakup just gave me even more resilience, and it taught me even more about myself, and it prepared me for that next relationship for myself. And so I was like, thank you. Like literally, that's what I said. Like all I have to say to you is thank you, because I honor the fact that you are called to where you need to be, and I want you to do that. I would never want you to be in a situation that you don't want to be in. So I want you to follow your heart, and again, knowing that whatever's best for you is also best for me, because I'm like a part of that co-experience. And for me to be able to grow from that, again, it was another idea of embracing and loving the pain, and at the same time transmuting that pain into courage, into bravery, into growth. So again, Kay, for all of us here, let's take a moment here to just kind of acknowledge those difficult times that we've been through, and for us to be able to acknowledge the bravery that we have by having gone through those challenging times, especially when we kind of come out the other side of it, or even if you're going through it right now, acknowledge your bravery and just be like, wow, okay, this is important and this is helping me grow, and this story is bigger than my own, and my bravery is going to be inspiration for other people's bravery. And again, it's this idea that this is a very, very powerful idea. And I just want to be able to say this, and then we'll wrap up this card here. And this is a great reading. This is a great way to be able to start the day, I think. The universe doesn't give us anything we can't handle. So if there is something that you're going through, that is because the universe knows that you are strong enough to carry it, that you are strong enough to move through it, that you are strong enough to transmute it, that you are strong enough to be able to see the wisdom in it, and for you to be able to get that through direct experience so that you can share that wisdom with others as well. So this is such a powerful card. So again, finding the quintessence. The quintessence kind of means the bigger picture, seeing the bigger picture. So again, it's like, that usually happens in times where it's like, oh, you go through that pain, a month down the road, suddenly you're in this place and you're just like, wow, I'm really grateful for where my life's at. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't go through that pain. If those unexpected circumstances didn't play out the way they did. And yet I was able to kind of go with that flow and be open to receiving. And now I am where I am. And so it's very important to be able to be open to receiving those lessons, while at the same time also being able to make sure that we're not like ignoring them. If we're pushing away our pain, if we're pushing away our feelings, then it's just going to keep rising up. So we need to like sit with our feelings. We need to practice getting good at sitting with our feelings and being able to, again, just be able to like feel them, honor them, see where we're at, and to see our pain as, again, another way for us to be able to see it as like a guideline for where we can send more love to ourselves. So that's basically anytime that we feel pain, that's the universe basically just saying, send love here. Like in the same way, it's like, oh, you scrape your knee, it hurts, and then you kind of like want to naturally put your hands on it. That's like the universe's way of like, pain is basically a way of saying, send love here. So if you feel pain within your heart, send love there, and pay attention to that. Where do you feel the discomfort and the uncertainty? That is just your body just asking for you to love itself even more, and giving you, your body's working alongside you. You're not fighting against it. Work alongside with it, constructively using realizations, gaining wisdom, concentrating on the important. Awesome. So yeah, so this is a very, very powerful card. So again, it's like, instead of fighting our pain, what if we can dance? What if we can dance with our pain? And what if we can have gratitude for the entire experience? What wisdom does that grant us in the moment? So awesome. Let me know, anybody here, how does that resonate with you? Kay, let me know how that resonates with you. I'm going to read any of the comments that people write on screen. And again, that's Swords 5. So that's a beautiful card for us to be able to pull this morning. So thank you, Kay, for helping us facilitate that card reading. And thank you, everyone. Again, that was the entire team pulling that card. So again, by us pulling that card, there's definitely, let us know if you're just like, yo, like, that was valuable, and there was something there that like now something shifted, my paradigm slightly shifted, and I'm reminded of like my own bravery, and now I'm not as scared of pain anymore. And I'm going to bring in that higher wisdom where as things happen in the future, I'm going to be able to be like, okay, trust. This is helping clear out the garden. This is helping make room for new growth. This is helping change situations towards ones that are going to serve my higher purpose as well. So very beautiful card. So thank you again, Kay, for helping bring in that card. So awesome. I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Vanessa says, going back to the story I was talking about like dancing with my like ex and stuff like that and their boyfriend. Wow, that's very cool. You're brave. And you know what? They also probably felt uncomfortable by you being able to put yourself in that position. You helped them too. Very cool. Yeah, no, definitely like that was an important thing too. Yeah, like it wasn't just me, like it was for them too as well. And yeah, and by the end of it we were just like, yo, this is okay, like we're okay, we're surviving, we're all humans here, you know, and we can still all love each other on that level. So it's like learning how to love differently, right? And also learning how to love yourself, most importantly. So absolutely. Allison, thank you so much. Allison says, stepping out of our comfort zone. Miriam, thank you so much for tuning in. And Kay, go ahead. Kay, any response that you want to type, please feel free to let us know. Karina, thanks so much for joining in. Karina says, I love this. She's tuning in on the Instagram. Mystic Flavor, seeing the thumbs up and the wave. Thank you so much. And again, for anybody here, please feel free to let me know how that resonates with you. Drop an 1111 in the comments if it does resonate with you. And we will we will just take a few moments here to be able to share some of the comments, and then we will get ready to move into our next reading. And again, our next reading will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon, for them to be able to get a reading on air. So again, when we do these broadcasts, there's twofold to it. It's an opportunity for us to be able to provide awesome value for the community, as well as being able to help generate support on the Patreon, which continues to allow us to do more of these ongoing broadcasts for the community as well. So for anybody here, let me know if you're signing up for the Patreon currently, and that only takes about 3 minutes to be able to sign up. And again, when you sign up, you can also get a super beautiful light guardian crystal. Yeah, Mystic Flavor. So these are light guardian crystals. They were asking what this is. So light guardian crystals are one of the items that I make. These are all handmade. They're tools, toys, and talismans within this bigger shift in consciousness, and they're helping us like anchor into our story. And they're basically like little lightsabers and Excaliburs at the same time. So if you see one of these and you're just like, whoa, those are magical, I want one. And again, they're different sizes. They're not that one's like one of the bigger ones. Here's like one of the like the regular size ones. And yeah, they're quartz crystal. And they're super, super awesome. And again, if you're fascinated by one of these, you can either order one of these normally at questitemshop.com, or you can get one for as much as you wish to pay after you sign up for the Patreon. So let's work towards being able to get 2 Patreon signups during this broadcast. And I'll be on air for a decent amount of time, not too long. But again, we'll get in at least a couple more readings during this broadcast. So thank you again, everyone. And again, just share your comments. Let us know how that resonated with you. Kimberly dropping the 1111s in the chat. Allison dropping the 1111s. Good to see that resonates with you. Kay, if you're still there, again, just please feel free to let us know how that resonated with you. And and thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. Again, for those of you who maybe were just meeting for the first time, my name is Brendan. I also go by Skull Babylon. That's like my YouTube channel. And again, I've been creating conscious media for 10 years to be able to help assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. And by doing these broadcasts, we're focused on providing like awesome value and insight and inspiration for the community. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. And again, you can check out more at patreon.com/Brendan Culton. That's the info down on screen. I always forget, which corner am I pointing in? Yeah, that corner. right there. For those of you on YouTube and Facebook. So the again, the Patreon is a website where people can support artists with monthly micro donations. You can see on screen we are currently at 119, working towards our goal of 150. Again, by us being able to create support on Patreon, it's this idea that when we each give a little, we all get a lot, and there's a lot more stuff that we're creating for the community. So thank you to our Patreon supporters, our recent Patreon supporters. Thank you to Rebecca, to Percy, to Paul, to Skylar. Thank you again, Sheila, if you're still tuned in, one of our recent Patreon supporters from the other day. And again, working towards getting at least 2 signups during this broadcast. And hey, even if you want to sign up a little bit later, again, if it's your first time here, then please feel free to just make yourself comfortable. And what we'll do, we'll create a little bit of a window here. We'll create a few moments here to be able to check in and to invite, again, if someone wants to jump the line to be able to get the next reading on air for them and for the community, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. Or even if there's any other Patreon supporters here who want to like update their pledge, if you want to increase your pledge on the Patreon, you can do that. And then that can be a way for us to do like the next reading straight for people from the community. Thank you, Secret Yaphrodite. Thank you so much. Secretly Aphrodite. That's how, okay. That's I was reading that differently. Thank you so much for dropping the 1111s in the chat. And again, so what we'll do here, we'll just take a quick intermission and we'll create some space and some time for someone here to be able to sign up for the Patreon if they are interested in it. And then we'll play it by ear. Again, like I want to be able to provide value for people who are tuned in. So what we'll do another reading either way in the next few minutes. And we're just creating a little window here to be able to invite anybody to sign up for the Patreon. And again, thank you to our Patreon supporters. Hey, Bonnie, good morning. Thanks for joining in. And for those of you on Instagram, again, you can go to my Instagram story and swipe up. And again, these light guardian crystals, I use these as like fidget spinners too. So if you're like someone, or you know someone who's like maybe like a little bit fidgety or just kind of like needs that extra focus, the light guardian crystals are a great little tool to be able to use just as like something to have in your hands. And again, it's like a crystal too, so it's used for like meditation as well. So aloha, hey, Conscious Catalyst, thanks so much for joining in. And again, if you're tuning in on Instagram, you can swipe up on my story to tune in on YouTube. And for those of you who are here on Facebook, please feel free to share this link if you haven't yet. Share it to some groups. We've got about 3 people tuned in on Facebook. Again, I'm temporarily blocked from sharing in groups on Facebook, so your help sharing on Facebook is greatly appreciated. And we've got about 9 people tuned in on YouTube. So let me just check in real quick. If anybody here is just looking to be able to be entered and eligible for a reading straight out of the chat, drop a 333 in the comments. And so like I said, we're going to take a few minutes here. And if anybody is signing up for the Patreon in the next 5 minutes, less than that, then we'll do a reading for that person. That's how you jump the line. That's how you like get in the list. And again, you can also do a private reading that way. And if there is no current new Patreon sign up in the next few minutes, then we'll do another reading straight out of the chat, which is totally okay. And like, again, the universe balances it out that way. So I like being able to keep things pretty flexible in that sense. So if you would like a reading, here are your instructions. Share this broadcast. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already yet. And we'll be back here again 10 p.m. later tonight. And again, drop a 333 into the chat just to be able to let me know that you are interested in being able to get a reading. And I can see we've got about like 10 people on the YouTube, which is good. So I think we've got enough people to be able to choose from as well. And again, for everybody here, even if this is your first time, go ahead and check out the Patreon when you get a chance, not only just to be able to like donate if you're interested, but also to be able to see more of the content that we do, such as like the free hugs videos, the full-length movies. Actually, just to let everybody know, this Thursday, we're going to be doing our Synergy Circle broadcast. And I want to be able to like focus the discussion around like the climate crisis as well, just to be able to bring some people together in the community and to practice talking about that. So that will be Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's do at least one more reading. I want to be able to do one more reading, but again, if we can get additional Patreon signups, then we can do more readings beyond that. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, for honoring the value that we are co-creating together, and yeah, just sending you awesome vibes and wishing you an awesome day. So again, for those of you on YouTube and on Facebook, drop a 333 in the comments to let me know that you are looking for a reading, and then we can at least tell how many people are looking for a reading. And if you haven't already yet, share this broadcast to any groups if you are on Facebook, and that is super appreciated. Awesome. Hey, Hejima, thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Holland. Yeah, and even if anybody just wants to leave some comments on where you're tuning in from, that's always super cool. I love being able to know that. So again, so what we'll do another reading for people right out of the chat. So again, this is us like providing like awesome value for the community. And again, like I also like the private readings. I used to just do private readings and stuff like that. And like yeah, those were like definitely special, but I definitely like being able to do the community readings as well, and for us to be able to like increase the global impact. So again, if you're new here for the first time, even Hakima, if you want to check it out, go ahead and check out the Patreon. And if you're just like, whoa, I really like what this guy is doing, I really like what this project is about being able to help like accelerate the shift in consciousness and create awesome value, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. We're working, again, our objective for this broadcast is to get 2 new Patreon signups during this broadcast. And even if you want to sign up a little bit later on, you could literally like tune into this and then sign up for the Patreon a little bit later on. And so again, this is like an interactive team accomplished broadcaster that we are doing. So aloha to Zero Suit on Twitch. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for anybody else listening to this on any platform at any point. So it looks like the Facebook chat has kind of gone quiet. So for anybody who's still tuned in on the Facebook, please feel free to help share this broadcast and drop a 333 in the comments. And again, for those of you on YouTube as well, drop a 333 just to let me know that you're interested in being able to be eligible for us to do a reading on air for you. And like I said, we can do another reading straight out of the chat, and then if we can get one more reading, we can do one more reading if we get an additional person signed up for the Patreon. And yeah, and then we'll go from there. So we'll see where things are at. So again, I just encourage people to check out the Patreon when they can, and we'll get right into this next reading. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, again, for acknowledging the value, for rippling the inspiration, for helping co-create this experience. And yeah, happy Wednesday. All right, so let's see. So Kimberly dropped a 333. Natalia dropped a 333. Hakima dropped a 333. I want to be able to see at least a few more 333s before we move into the next phase for the reading. So if you haven't already yet, please feel free to share this broadcast to invite more people to tune in. And then we'll get right into that next reading very soon. And let me see. I don't know if there's any other places I can share this broadcast to. Because again, right now I can tell like there's only like 2 people tuned in on Facebook. And that's again, like there are times like there's another group I was previously, right now the group is just like on hiatus. But yeah, like we would do broadcasts where we would get like, again, like 50 people tuned in. But right now we're just kind of like working with the way Facebook currently functions. And so if we can succeed, even when Facebook is just kind of like, you know, not fully giving us the resources that we would normally have, then that in itself is pretty awesome. So, yeah, there's no other pages I really want to share this to particularly. And I only manage so many groups as well. So again, for anybody here, if you would like a reading, drop a 333 in the chat to let us know. And I want to make sure that we have at least like 5 people who are looking for a reading. And thank you again for everybody who was tuned in earlier. Kay, who we did our first reading for as well. And and aloha to those of you tuning in on Instagram. If you are on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up on Instagram to be able to tune in on YouTube as well. And so again, just checking in, who here is here right now, like in the chat. Let us know in the chat who is here right now. So Allison, if you're here, Vanessa, if you're here, go ahead, let us know in the chat. And again, we're going to do that next reading right out of the chat. So again, for those of you who are here, who are just tuning in, and if you would like to be able to get a reading that we do here as part of the team, drop a 333 into the comments. Super simple, and then I'll give you the next instructions, and then we'll move forward with the next reading. So go ahead, for everybody here, drop a 333 in the comments if you're looking for the chat. And again, your engagement is super appreciated. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and for being a part of this. And again, if you're not already yet, you can follow me on Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man, and I post up like unique and exclusive content there as well. And and again, if you're just on Facebook, please feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube as well. And I'll post a link just for the actual like YouTube link into the broadcast as well. And let's see, how many people do we got? So again, we got about like 6 people. Allison's still here. Hey, Allison. We got about 6 people tuned in on YouTube. We've got about probably like 4 or 5 people tuned in on Facebook, and a couple people tuned in on Instagram. So again, these are the simple instructions. If you would like a reading on air, share this broadcast, and then drop a 333 in the comments to let me know that you would like a reading on air. So again, for the 10-ish people who are tuned in, let me know in the comments if you would like to be able to get a reading. Otherwise, because right now, like, so Allison, were you looking for a reading, Allison? Let us know. Because otherwise, like right now, there's only like 3 people out of the 10-ish, and I want to be able to make sure that we at least have like 5 people just to be able to help make it fair for us to be able to choose who we do this next reading for. And yeah, and thank you again. That first reading, that was really important. That was a very powerful reading. And so again, we'll do this next reading straight from the chat. And then again, if we get 1 sign up to the Patreon during this broadcast, then we'll do an extra reading after that as well. So real quick, for everybody here, drop a 333 in the comments. Let me know if you would like to be able to get that reading, and then we will move forward with this next step. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a total, like, yeah, it's going to be some pretty good odds for either Kimberly, Natalia, or Hakima if everyone there is still here. So okay, so Allison dropped the 333 as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's just get right into our next reading, and then we'll go from there. And again, this will be either our last reading for the broadcast, but if we do get 1 Patreon sign up after this, then we'll do 1 more reading. So again, even while you're listening to this, again, signing up on the Patreon only takes about 3 minutes. And yeah, you can help us reach our 120 mark on the Patreon, which is pretty awesome. And again, you can check that out when you get a chance, and I posted the links for that into the chat as well. And so here are the instructions. If you would like to be able to get a reading on air, share this broadcast if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you haven't yet. You can do that. And then I'm going to give you a number, and the 3rd person to enter this number into the chat, keeping in mind that there's multiple chats, so don't just pay attention to your own, will be the person that we do this reading for. So we got the Facebook, we got the YouTube, and we got the Instagram. Actually, I'm going to make it the 4th person. We'll make it the 4th person. So the number that I'm going to give you, the number that you're going to enter into the chat and be the 4th person to enter this, don't enter it in right away, listen to your intuition, is the number 999. So type 999 into the chat, wait, hold your breath, take a breath, and then when you're ready, hit enter, and then the 4th person who enters that into the chat across the multiple chat platforms, and then from there we will choose that person. And for those of you tuning in on Twitch, again, I'm broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, so there are other people tuned in on other platforms, and people tuning in on Twitch, hey, thanks for swinging by. Glad you were able to find us. All right, so keeping an eye open for those 999s dropped in the chat. And again, the 4th person who enters that in will be the person that we do a reading for. And again, we'll do 1 more reading after this if we have a person signed up for the Patreon during this broadcast. And again, that's part of our objective of being able to work towards being able to invite at least 2 new Patreon supporters during this broadcast. And yeah, being able to provide awesome value for the community. So here come the numbers. They are starting to come in, and again, I'll let you know. Again, there's multiple platforms here, so don't just pay attention to your own chat. And again, just kind of listen to your intuition, and I'll let you know who the person is that we are doing the next reading for. So thank you again, everyone, for your participation. And absolutely, if you haven't yet, please feel free to just share this with your friends, and we will, yeah, continue to move forward with this next reading here. So awesome. All right, so there we go. So the person that we are doing this next reading for is going to be Natalia. So Natalia, congratulations. Thank you so much for being here and for being a part of the community and for tuning in. Natalia, I appreciate, like, I know you've been tuning in quite regularly, so I appreciate you being here And yeah, excited to be able to do a reading for you on behalf of the team. And again, for everybody here, if you're tuned into this reading is for you. This reading is for the team. This reading is for the collective. So congratulations to Natalia. Thank you again, Hamid, Hakima, and also to Allison. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. And give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to restart the broadcast on Instagram, and then we'll get right into this reading. So again, this will be our last reading for today. However, if we do have one new Patreon sign up during this broadcast, then we will do an additional reading there. So just relaunched on Instagram. Aloha to Instagram. And give me 2 seconds here as I'm just pinning the post, and we'll get right into this next reading. So thanks again, everyone. If this is your first time here, go ahead and drop a 222 in the comments and let us know. And I'd love to be able to just give additional shout outs on any platform for those of you who may be here for the first time. So thank you again, and be sure to subscribe. And yeah, Hakima, thank you so much. Thank you so much just for holding space and for being here. And again, we're doing another broadcast later tonight at 10 p.m. as well. And yeah, we're working again towards being able to invite people to support on the Patreon. So again, with the Patreon, if you're tuned into this broadcast and you want to help us do one more reading, understand but that by you signing up for the Patreon, it's also a way for us as a team to be able to continue to provide more value for everyone who happens to be tuned in. So Kimberly, thanks so much for joining in for the first time, Kimberly. Appreciate it. Siri tuning in as well, and Adriana tuning in as well. Thank you so much, everyone. So again, we're going to do this next reading here at oh, interesting. 8:18 a.m. Nice. So for everybody here, we're going to do this reading for Natalia, who is a person that we chose from the chat, and then we will do one more reading if we have a person signed up for the Patreon during this broadcast. And so again, as you're listening to this, go ahead and check out the Patreon for anybody here. Even if you're just like not fully set on signing up, check out the Patreon, because that just links you into a lot of my other stuff, such as the full-length movies that I've made, and a lot of the broadcasts and the free hugs videos and the Mystic Spider-Man videos and all sorts of cool stuff that we've created as a community over the years. And again, I'll just say real quick, if you would like to be involved even further, when you sign up on the Patreon, there's the $3 level, the $5 level, the $10 or the $11 level. And when you sign up on the $11 level, you also have the option to be able to join as a leading member. And leading members are like a private membership community space. And you get to work alongside me on being able to help collaborate on creating conscious media. You get access to being able to publish content through the main website. So if you're a conscious media creator, if you got a story, if you got a voice, and you want to help reach a wider audience, joining as a leading member is an awesome way to be able to help do that. And again, real quick, and we'll get right into this reading, when you sign up on the Patreon for any amount, you get a super beautiful light guarding crystal for a pay what you wish. So how much do these cost? As much as you wish to pay once you sign up for the Patreon. So again, we'll keep an eye open for the next Patreon sign up. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and we're going to get right into this reading. And again, this will be our last reading for today for this broadcast. We'll do another one later at 10 p.m. unless we have one new person signed up for the Patreon between now and, like, again, by the time of after we like finish this next reading as well. So Natalia, thank you so much. Again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. If it's your first time here, my name is Brendan. Again, I'm a professional conscious media creator, and been creating a lot of awesome stuff with community and building a global team of shifters over the years. So let's get right into this. Thank you again, everyone, and be sure to subscribe on any platform and channel that you're in. So Natalia, if you are ready, let us know in the chat. And for everybody here, just inviting you to drop into your heart space. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, you can tune in on YouTube by going to my Instagram story and swiping up. And again, even on Instagram, if you want to support on Patreon, you can go to my bio link. And again, working on being able to get one new Patreon sign up as we do this broadcast. And by being able to have that one more Patreon sign up, then we'll do another reading after this. Otherwise, this will be the last reading for this broadcast, which is totally okay. After this, I'm going to be working on the Global Climate Strike March journalism video. So that's like a super important video that I'm working on. And again, tune in this Thursday at 9:30, and we're going to be talking a bit about the global climate strike and the global climate crisis as part of our synergy circle. So Natalia, let us know in the comments that you are here and that you are ready. And for everybody here, just inviting you to just like be in that heart space to allow yourself to just like be in that space of gratitude. Just take a couple breaths here. Just allow yourself to relax. Maybe it's like the first like deep, meaningful breath of the day. Beautiful. Awesome. And so everybody here, yo, Oliver, thanks for joining in. Thank you again, everybody. Adriana, Hamid, thank you again, everyone. Natalia, let me know if you're here in the chat, if Natalia is still connected to the broadcast. And again, just inviting you, Natalia, to align yourself with the intention of show me what I need to see. Very simple, but very powerful. Show me what I need to see. Aloha, positive frequencies. Good to see you. Welcome back. All right. So I just want to, okay, so Natalia is here. Perfect. All right. So for everybody here, again, please feel free to just be in that heart space and align yourself with that intention of show me what I need to see. And we're going to do this reading here for Natalia. And again, we'll keep an eye open for a Patreon sign up as we're doing this broadcast. And if we get our next Patreon sign up will allow us to do one more reading during the broadcast. And thank you again, everyone, for your support on multiple levels. Simply by being here, you are supporting, and simply by carrying this inspiration forward, and by making other people smile, and by continuing to do your best, you are supporting. You are supporting the shift in consciousness. So Natalia, drop yourself into that intention of show me what I need to see. And for everybody here, inviting you to just align with that as well. This is a team synchronistic card reading. Take a few breaths here, Natalia. And when you are ready, you can say now and type that into the chat. And again, just align yourself with that intention of show me what I need to see. And so, as we allow ourselves to see the messages that have always been, the codes that are written within the bark of these trees, the roots that deepen down into the earth, the branches that reach towards the sun as we nurture this rebirth, for us to live and for us to love, for us to be able to bring through the wisdom from in and above, as we shine our light, as we stand within the darkness of the night, as we turn further inwards so that we can see the truth hidden in plain sight. That, my friends, we are connected here on this path for us to be able to help make the impact that will last through the ripples we create, through the generations that are born out of this story as we transform through the storm. And we wait for Natalia to type now into the chat. And then we will pull the card and see what message the cosmos has. So just going to take an extra second here. Again, there's just a little bit of lag on the video sometimes, so we just want to wait a little bit. Again, just for everybody here, just take a few breaths. Make some sound effects with me. Go ahead. For everybody here, I just want you to make some sound effects. Just be like, woo, 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 woo. And just charge this reading with me together. And waiting for Natalia to type now into the chat. And then we will pull this card. Again, thank you for everybody being here. Thank you for holding space. Thank you for meditating. Thank you for being in this place of grace as we continue to evolve within this game, as we continue to love all that is the name, for us to see what has always been, for us to dance with these stars, and giving it another moment for Natalia to type now into the chats, and then we will pull the card here. So again, just want to make sure that Natalia is still here, and then we will pull the card, honoring the synchronistic process of how we do this. All right, give it one more second. If Natalia, again, there's always like a little bit of a lag. And I think Natalia's connection might be slightly laggier. So if Natalia is there, go ahead and drop a now into the chat. And we'll give it an extra few seconds. And if nothing pops up in the next 30 seconds, then we'll have to do a little bit of a sidestep and what do-si do. And yeah, and then we'll see what we decide after that. So because again, it's possible like Natalia could have could have got dropped out of the chat, so that's okay. So Natalia, if you're still there, drop now into the chat. We'll just give this about 30 more seconds. Thank you again, everyone, for your patience. You guys are awesome. All right. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Natalia, waiting for you to drop. There it is now. Perfect. Awesome. Beautiful. All right, so there's the card that we pulled for Natalia. And all right, and we shall go into this reading here. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, for holding space as a team. Again, this will be our last reading for today, unless we have one new person signed up for the Patreon. And while you're listening to this broadcast, you can sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up, and you can do that, and that will allow us to do one more reading for the community. And again, I'll post a link into the chats for that. So hey, if it's your first time here, then go ahead and check that out when you get a chance. But if you've been here for a while and you really appreciate what we're creating as a community, then absolutely go ahead and check out the Patreon and sign up when you can. Again, monthly micro donation of $3, $5, $1,000, whatever works. All right, so charging up the card that we got here for Natalia, and again for the team. If you're tuned into this reading is for you. The card that we have pulled, as I charge it up with the Light Guardian Crystal, is the Princess of Swords. So, allow me to open up the book from the Ananda Tarot deck. And for those of you who wonder, Ananda was one of the students of Buddha. So, alright, and thank you again, everyone. Alright. Cool. Alright, so give me 2 seconds here. I just gotta open up to the Princess of Swords. Again, another swords one. I don't know if Sheila's still here. I just feel like Sheila would be blown away by this. She's like, where? Like, so many swords. We've been getting so many sword cards over the past few days. So for those of you who are here for the first time, thank you so much for joining in. Again, if you are tuned into this reading is for you. And so this reading, we pulled this on behalf of Natalia from the chat. And again, we're going to read from the book here. We're going to talk about this card. We're going to draw some further insight. And we're going to create some awesome value and inspiration for all the people tuned in right now. So if it's your first time, please feel free to subscribe. And again, this will be our last reading for the broadcast. Unless we have one new person signing up on the, on Patreon. And again, that can be like a $3, $5, $11. When you sign up, you can also get one of the beautiful Light Guardian Crystals for a pay what you wish. And okay, 1 second here, because I think Hakima says that they just signed up. And let me just double check. Hakima, I'm not getting a notification just yet, but I'll keep an eye open for that. But Hakima, yeah, Allison, like, hey, Allison, does this look familiar? Cool. So yeah, Elle, thank you so much for joining in, and hi, welcome. Thank you, especially if it's your first time. So again, this is like a collective reading that we do through the team. So again, by people being here holding space as a community, we allow the person to be able to like help us synchronistically pull the card, but then it becomes like a collective reading for the team with the intention of show us what we need to see. So yeah, you're very much like, I can see you're already kind of aware of what we're doing here, and that's super awesome. So again, Hakima, I'm going to keep an eye open for the Patreon, because I don't, to be honest, I'm letting you know that I didn't see an update on my end, so I don't think you signed up properly. So just be sure to double check, Hakima, and thank you again, Hakima, especially for being able to sign up, and we'll again, that will allow us to do one more reading for the community and a reading for you, Hakima, as well. And again, for anybody who's looking for like a private reading, you can do that too. But again, for those of you, like, know that your support in any form is greatly appreciated. By you watching, by you bringing this inspiration out with you further into the world, by you sharing this broadcast, it is equally as appreciated as you signing up on the Patreon. Like, seriously, it really, really is. Like, someone could sign up for the Patreon for like $1 million, and I would still just be like, thank you, thank you. So in the same way, if someone just like shared this broadcast, like thank you, it's all energy. So again, the Patreon just allows us to be able to increase our global impact and to continue to provide awesome value for the community. So Hakima, go ahead, double check, because I didn't get a confirmation on my end, and you will get a confirmation with an email once you've signed up properly. But in the meantime, we're going to do this next reading. So again, stay tuned. Hopefully Hakima's go through, and then we'll have one more reading after this. And then again, our objective is to get 2 Patreon signups during each broadcast. So for anybody else here who wants either another reading or a private reading, go ahead and you can also sign up for the Patreon as we're doing this broadcast. And thank you again, everyone, for being here. And I'll just post the YouTube link real quick for those of you who want to jump from Facebook to YouTube. Please feel free to do that. And hey, we got another awesome person in here. Aloha to Percival. Percival is one of our recent Patreon signups. You can see his name on the screen there, right there. That's Percy. He's in the YouTube chat. All right, we got a lot of awesome creators here. Thank you so much. And let's get right into this. Natalia, we are Jedi, as Natalia says in the chat. So thank you again, everyone. Let's get right into this. So Princess of Swords. We're going to look at this image here. And again, if you are tuned into this, this message is for you. There's something here for you. Positive frequencies. Thanks for tuning in. Had to go to class. So, all right. So looking at the image here, the Princess of Swords, what do we have? We have this beautiful figure of a woman, a female, with their arm kind of like reaching towards the heavens. And then they're this transparent being. And within the sky around them, you can see there's a sword, but there's also like a piano. And there's kind of different architectures. There's like kind of like a stone corner there. And then there's like this rolling landscape down below. And there's a little tiny bird there as well with these beautiful clouds and the stars like up in the heavens there. So go ahead and take a look at that. So again, that's just a literal explanation of the card. And then we're going to get right into talking about what the Princess of Swords is about. And yeah, thank you again, Allison. Allison's like, yes, more of this card. So all right, so for everybody here, thank you again. We'll keep an eye open for another Patreon sign up, and again, once that Patreon sign up goes through, be it from Hakeem or anybody else, we'll do another reading after this. So stick around, we got a lot more value coming your way, and be sure to subscribe. And hey, if you're on Facebook, send me a friend request, but also send me a direct message so that I can see that you were tuned into this, because I don't accept friend requests if they're just like, if I don't know exactly who they are. So send me a direct message when you send me a friend request. Thank you. And yeah, let's get right into this. Thank you again, everyone. All right. So open your hearts and receive the messages that we have. Princess of Swords. The image. Apparently without a foundation, a female being dances from a faraway place toward the fullness of a sky in motion. Meaning, through the connection of the air element with the earth element, the flighty part of the thinking mind unites with the dense material forms. Lightness and heaviness meld with the Princess of Swords to form a dynamic female aspect of the element air. The binding of two opposite principles almost inevitably calls forth change. Mental malleability stands opposite the static principle of the material. The motionless is moved, and the restless is tamed. The characteristics of Venus and Mars are able to find their expression in dance as well as in other disciplines, in which the principle of motion is able to build a harmonious accord with form-giving powers. The Princess of Swords can be an indicator for using the intelligence of nature as a source of inspiration, as well as for expressing the penetrating clarity of the mind in spoken word. However, the value of an idea is measured only by its degree of realization. And I'll just reread that part. The value of an idea is measured only by its degree of realization. Astrological significance. Venus, Mercury, Libra, air, and earth elements. Keywords: wisdom of nature, bodily movement, sense of justice, naturalness, love of freedom, contemplation, creative expression. Traditional meaning: healthy understanding of others, agility, brightness, communication, changes. Very cool. Awesome. So again, with a card like this, anytime that we have the sword card, the swords are again often in association with the mind. And how are we using the mind? How are we using the mind in relationship to the world around us? How are we using it to be able to help bring forth more creativity, more creation into this world? And so for this card, it really is about being able to merge the lightness and the heaviness into one, and to be able to materialize the ideas that are kind of like, again, like up there in the sky. Like that's kind of what you can see, like the Princess of Swords. She's kind of got like one arm like way up into the sky, and then like the other part of her is kind of like coming out of the earth. So this card is a very, very powerful card, which again is very much kind of like a balancing of opposites, and yet utilizing the strength of both. It's like a synergy. Again, like when we think of Venus, like this card, again, it's very much like Venus and Mars. And again, the Venus and Mars aspect is, again, kind of like the female archetype and the male archetype, the female energy and the male energy. And we think about what the female energy is, and then again, that's kind of like that flowing, creative, like comforting, welcoming, receiving energy. And then and that would be the Venus energy. And then the Mars energy, often associated with the male energy, is again this idea of like kind of like direct action, like moving and just like piercing and forward, and just like very like heavy like progress in that sense. Both are progress in their own sense. And so again, this is about being able to dance with discipline. So when I think of this card, I very much kind of like think of this card very much as like qigong. Like if you look at qigong, what is qigong? You know, like qigong is very much like this process of kind of like merging this very feminine Venus airy type energy, yet also like grounding it in this earth energy, grounding it in this stability. So this is a very powerful card to be able to check in with ourselves and to be able to observe, like, how much are we kind of like in this airy energy and how much are we in this earth energy, and where can we find the balance? So you don't want to be at some points so airy that you're just like, yes, I'm just going to do this, I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and you're not really like thinking about the consequences or the responsibility and things like that. And instead, to understand that, like, in that sense, like, that has a purpose to it, but it becomes even more valuable when you're also able to balance that with the earth element, which is kind of like rooted in taking an extra moment to reflect, rooted in being able to drop ourselves into our responsibilities. So this card is a type of card where I see as an archetype, it's the type of person who like works really hard during the day, like showing up as like a creator, as like a family member, as a community member, and they're like putting in the work. And then when the night comes, they're like dancing around the fire, and they're celebrating, and they're letting out their tribal nature. They're letting their fire shine forth. And again, this is such a powerful card because, again, it's reminding us of the importance of balance. For everybody here, kind of like think, you know, like, are there parts of me that maybe I want to be able to express that I'm not expressing? And if that's the case, then it may be that you've got like this earthy element to you that you want to be able to balance more with a little bit of the air principles. Or at the same time, are you just kind of like constantly going out partying or constantly kind of doing this, but then you go home and you're just like, oh geez, like I like forgot to take out the garbage, and I forgot to take care of the responsibilities, and I forgot to like tend to the things that are a part of like my everyday life. So this card is also about very much like being able to be responsible and being able to create the conditions for us to be able to express freedom in a more freeing way. Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather like go out for a night partying in the town, yet at the same time have in the back of your mind this idea of like, oh crap, I have an essay due tomorrow and I have not finished it. In fact, maybe I've barely even started it. And yet here I am out dancing with my friends and like, you know, like maybe having a few drinks, having a great time. But in the back of your mind and in your heart, you're just like, this is kind of avoiding something. Like this is not really fully responsible. And then suddenly you go back home and suddenly your airiness actually kind of butts heads with your earthiness. And your earthiness is just like, oh man, like I'm glad that you're out there having fun, but it would have been better for both of us if we made sure that the responsibilities were taken care of before we move into that next move of like celebration and accentuation. So for this card actually reminds me a lot of Capricorn, actually. And again, for Natalia, for anybody listening to this, again, this card, I really see this card as like thinking about the idea of laying down the foundations and laying down the work to give us more opportunity to be able to expand into our freedom. So imagine that like you have like two options. Either you just kind of like, you know, go off and party in all the ways that you want, but then you don't actually move forward in your dreams in terms of like your business and your creative like endeavors and things like that. Or you spend a little bit of time creating the foundations, building the earth, nurturing the soil, and then you move into the air, and then you move into the excitement, and then you move into the expression, and then you're able to return to the earth in a way that balances you, that brings you back to center, and there's no guilt. There's no guilt in that. And I think at times we need to be able to like acknowledge when guilt shows up within our habits, when guilt shows up within our feelings, because again, that's also like our internal wisdom kind of reminding us that there's a better way to do this. There's a better way to be able to balance our responsibilities with our creative desires, with our creative ability to kind of like seek things out. So again, wisdom of nature is one of the keywords in this, which I think is pretty interesting because we look at that, you know, we look at the way the tree's root, and that also very much like an air element. As I can like hear the wind blowing outside. Is that the wind? Weird. Yeah, there's just like a gust of wind outside. That was crazy. Again, naturalness, love of freedom, contemplation, creative expression, healthy understanding of others, agility, brightness, communication, changes. The characteristics of Venus and Mars are able to find their expression in dance as well as in other disciplines in which the principle of motion is able to build a harmonious accord with form-giving powers. The Princess of Swords can be an indicator for using the intelligence of nature as a source of inspiration as well as for expressing the penetrating clarity of the mind in spoken word. However, the value of an idea is measured only by its degree of realization. Another way I kind of like see this card is to think about how this concept is a very powerful way for us to become even more powerful creators. So say for example that you have like some spoken word poetry, or you have some poetry that you want to be able to do, and you're kind of like, you know that it's this process where it's just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get up there, and maybe it's flowetry. Let's say it's flowetry, so it's not even something you've memorized. And flowetry is when you just get up there and you just like speak your heart, but you do it with rhythm. You allow yourself to like create rhyme, you allow yourself to synchronize the words with the time, and you allow yourself to open up and to expand your mind, things like that, right? When you get up on stage, if you are just in this place of pure air, that makes it more challenging than perhaps it needs to be. And what you want to be able to do is, before you even get up on stage, is to practice centering yourself, to practice grounding yourself, to practice bringing yourself into that earth, to practice bringing yourself into that element of like the nature, the stillness. And then when you get up there, and then when you breathe, you literally breathe in this creative energy, and then it has a stable place to flow out through, to flow out from. So instead of going up there, and you might be really excited, and this is probably what would happen if you were just like to go up there and it would be pure air, it would probably be this thing where you're like really excited, and you're just like, hey everyone, this is my first time here, I'm just gonna have some fun. And then you start going, and then like 30 seconds into it, you start overthinking it, and then you're just like, oh god, ooh, oh, okay. And then like kind of like a wave of anxiety might kind of hit you, and then you kind of like lose your pacing, and then you're just like, I'm just gonna walk off stage now. Like, I feel embarrassed or something like that. And again, like, no shame in doing that, because I'm sure we've all had similar experiences. But what would the ideal version look like? The ideal version is when you balance the earth with the air, with the power of the mind, so that when you get up there, you have that stability, you have that core, you have that wisdom to be able to know that you can always bring yourself back to center. So when you feel like your airiness is kind of going out there, and maybe the airiness is kind of going, you almost kind of need to keep your airiness like on like a rope, so you can kind of like pull it back, because the airiness will kind of like if it's left untamed, if it's left without balance, it will just go. You know, like if we humans, if we were just like, if we didn't have responsibilities, we'd be dancing on the street every day. We'd be getting, you know, we'd be partying every night. We'd be dancing around the fire every night. And so understand that the airiness is this like, it's like this untamed thing. It just kind of goes. Like you can't stop the air, right? But when the air is seen as a metaphor for the mind, you can understand that you can balance it and you can anchor it so that when we feel that our airiness is like way out there, which is a very beautiful thing in itself, we understand that the better way of being able to organize it and utilize it is when we bring it into that place of anchored stability through the power of the earth, through the power of being able to bring ourselves back to oneness. So again, acknowledge the inspiration, Natalia, acknowledge like the creativity that you have inside of you, acknowledge like the magic that you have inside of you that you're ready to express, and yet honor the fact that your ability to express it in an even more effective way is amplified by your ability to be able to ground, by your ability to anchor into the earth, by your ability to kind of like be in both like heaven and earth at the same time, to be able to create heaven on earth at the same time. So yeah, lightness and heaviness meld with the Princess of Swords to form a dynamic female aspect of the air elements. The binding of two opposite principles almost inevitably calls forth change. Mental malleability stands opposite the static principle in the material. The motionless is moved, and the restless is tamed. So again, if you feel you got like a lot of air but not a lot of earth, let this be a reminder to bring it into balance. If you feel you got a lot of earth but not a lot of air, let this be an inspiration for you to be able to be like, oh, maybe I need to practice being more creative. Maybe I need to practice creating space and invitation for me to share my voice, to dance my dance. So wherever you're at, the person listening to this, for you listening to this, just acknowledge where you're at and practice bringing in a little bit more balance. You need to be real with yourself and give yourself permission, especially if you haven't really brought in much of that air energy recently. If you've been working really hard, then definitely give yourself permission to honor that air element in you, to honor that air element so that you can just kind of like celebrate the work that you've been doing, working really hard, getting into the garden, getting into the earth. And then you can do that, but then you can return back to that balance. So again, this is a very powerful card, and we'll wrap up here with this one. So again, for Natalia, let me know how this resonates with you. And for anybody else here, drop your comments in the chat and we'll read them on air about how they resonate with you. So again, yeah, I definitely see this card as very much, think of Qigong, think of Tai Chi, think of that like airy flowiness with strength and stability, and see that as a metaphor for how we show up. And when we do that, when we're in that zone of like air and earth, that's very much kind of like Neo from the Matrix. You know, it's very much just kind of like this like flow, stability, and it allows us to become like super adaptable and flexible as we move through life. So yeah, wisdom of nature, to be flowy like nature, bodily movement, sense of justice, for us to be able to determine the justice within ourselves. Where do we feel that things are out of balance? Kind of like the Libra thing as well. Naturalness, love of freedom, contemplation, and creative expression. So honor the creative expression within yourself, and honor the ability for you to be able to like to nurture the ongoing expression of it through the stability and the balance of the earth. And honor the earth in yourself, and honor the fact that the earth becomes more rich when we allow ourselves to tap into the creative aspects of ourselves. So if you haven't really been diving into the creative aspects, let this be an invitation for you to just be like, maybe I need to go out dancing this weekend. Like maybe I need to go practice like writing some poetry and singing some songs. So awesome. Yo, Peace Monkey, thanks so much. Peace Monkey says, too funny, perfect time for me to tune in. Happy to hear. So, all right, so I'm just going to read through some of the comments here. And again, for those of you looking for a reading, the next reading that we have will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And Hakima, I did not see any confirmation on my end, so that means that things didn't go through yet. So if you want to give that another shot, go ahead, and we'll take another couple minutes. And again, we'll do another reading here once we have another person signed up for the Patreon. So for those of you looking to get on air for a reading, the way how you get on the list is by signing up for the Patreon with a monthly micro donation, which gives you more than a reading, other awesome perks, including the Light Guardian crystals. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second as I read these comments. So Allison says, I love this card. I am a musician. L says Libra keeps on popping up for me in most readings. It's weird. Interesting. And finding balance is so difficult, says L. Allison says, I also love to dance. Yes, balance is so beautiful. Allison says, oh wow, yeah, I've been familiar with Qigong for 15 years. Yes, responsibility. L says, basically, I need to get my shit together and find balance. Allison, yeah, like, and L, yeah, like, that's, yeah, like, and that's something that we all need to be able to say to ourselves. Like, yeah, how, at any point, how can we bring more responsibility? How can we bring more balance into our life is always a good thing to be able to reflect on, right? Natalia says, Qigong is also a magical art. Yes, it's okay to be softy, and I'm very much many people in one. So, Natalia, absolutely. I like to see the sun and contemplate. Absolutely, that's a great way to be able to ground yourself as well. And Allison says, I feel like I brought air and earth together with my music and movement. Meet up for teens and kids with the past Sunday. Allison, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great way of being able to, yeah, that's an awesome thing when you can like bring people together to practice like having like you know, meditation and dance. That's very much earth and air, right? And that's like something that I kind of focus on as well. And that was for like, yeah, the autism meetup. Allison, congratulations on that. Again, I'm super excited and super proud of the people in this community who are, again, facilitating events and just bringing people together and planting seeds. I'm proud of everybody involved with this community. L says, with that being said, I should probably go revise for my test. Thank you for the reading. Thank you, L. Thank you so much for joining in. And again, we'll be back here again later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please feel free to make sure that you're subscribed. And yeah, well, Natalia, let me know how this was for you, how this card resonated with you. And for anybody else in the chat, let me know how this resonates for you as well. So a very beautiful card. Definitely about balance. How can we be the Princess of Swords? How can we balance the air and the earth and to show up in even more powerful and impactful ways for ourselves, for our community, for the team, for the shift? So yeah, by creating balance within ourselves, like we bring balance into the world. So such a powerful card to be able to receive there. So thank you again, everyone, so much for being here. Allison, thank you again for your support. And yeah, we'll take a quick little intermission here. We'll see if Hakima is signing up for the Patreon. If that's the case, we'll do one more reading on air. Again, we can do 2 more readings if there's 2 new Patreon signups. I've got a little bit more extra time. After that, I do have to go up to the library. Oh, Peace Monkey has an identical ring. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for dropping by, Peace Monkey. Thank you so much. Good to see you again. And all the sending you lots of good vibes and many blessings. I know you're on a constantly evolving quest. So all right, I'll see you in the future. All right. And yeah, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. For those of you tuning in on Facebook, again, please feel free to share the broadcast if you haven't yet. Kimberly, thank you again for liking the post and for sharing this. Oh, a comment by Percival. Ooh, perfect. Awesome, sweet. Allison saying, talking about her meetup with the autism group of children, says it was more of a meetup so kids could share their favorite music and dance and sing. Very cool, Allison. I'm so proud to know that, like, to know you in knowing that you're organizing that. So that's super cool, Allison. Good job. Percival, one of our recent Patreon supporters, says, it reminds me a bit of the Temperance card in Rider-Waite. A little bit of fire and water mixed in the cups, with a foot in the water and one on the earth. I find living to be an art in itself, and the kind of balance is a very important key at the heart of the art. Absolutely. We are constantly in this like journey of discovering and manifesting balance within ourselves. So beautiful. All right. Cool. Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for being here, for being a part of this broadcast. Natalia left a comment here. It says, I'm a teacher in intellectual... I'm not exactly sure what that word is. I know there's a little bit of language. Yeah, so, and you're intellectual and a mother to the serious person and then have to play... or escape, and I love nature and the force of nature. So awesome. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you. So yeah, absolutely. For a mother, for any sort of mother, this is definitely a card where it's like, okay, like responsibilities while still making sure that I'm giving myself what I need. And so for you, Natalia, I think this is just a card to acknowledge your what you are doing and how you are showing up, and your ability to be able to anchor in those energies, for you to be able to be in both the earth and the air. And oh, okay, I think, yeah, so Natalia says, I'm a teacher in intellectual disabilities. I think that's what, yeah, Allison, I think that's what she was saying. And a mother. And also, yeah, she loves being able to connect with nature. So very, very, again, Natalia, Allison, thank you so much. Both of you, again, kind of have like similar things that you're working on there as well. Aloha to Pink Poro tuning in on Twitch, and Dasha tuning in on Twitch as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, if it's your first time here, please feel free to follow me on Twitch, but you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and there's a lot more content there, so I'll just post a link to that, because we multi-broadcast across Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And yeah, if it's your first time here, then welcome. And we've been doing these broadcasts for a little while now. And yeah, so if you're still here in the chat, if you're just in the chat, drop a 777 in the chat. Let me know that you are here in the chat. And again, we will do one more reading if we have a person signing up for the Patreon in the next few moments. I'm not sure if Hakima is still with us. Hakima, if you're still there, let us know. Tanisha, thank you so much for joining. If you're still there, please feel free to let us know. And again, for Tanisha, yeah, if you're there, let us know, Tanisha. But again, just for anybody here, I don't necessarily like answer specific like questions, fortune telling questions from the chat, but we do encourage people to just be open to the intention of show me what I need to see. So again, I thank everybody here for joining in. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe, and also tune in later tonight at 10 p.m. And you can, again, check out more at paradigmshiftcentral.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter, which we'll be releasing this Thursday. And yeah, thank you so much for your support as well. So I'll just post a link for the newsletter for those of you who want to sign up for that as well. So for anybody here, again, just drop a 777 in the chat. Let me know that you are tuned into this broadcast so I can get an idea of the numbers. And again, we'll do one more reading if there's a new person signed up for the Patreon, and we'll wait a few more moments for that. And if not, that's okay. That's totally cool. And again, I thank everybody here for joining in, and we've done 2 readings so far during this broadcast with a lot of value to them. So thank you again to our Patreon supporters, for everybody for helping us create this value for the community. So give me 2 seconds here. So Hakima, just giving you instructions here. I think what you need to do, I think you need to go back to my profile, and I think you need to click the button that says become a Patreon supporter. I think what you did, I think you created a profile, but you didn't sign up for the Patreon to become a Patreon for my profile. You'll know when you've done it when you have like entered in the credit card information, because that takes you through the process of making sure that you're signed up. And again, in the contributions, they process on the 1st of each month, so they won't process until the 1st of October. So for anybody here signing up on the Patreon, just know that. So again, what we're doing here, we're just taking a quick intermission, thanking everyone again so much for tuning in. If you're just tuning in live, please feel free to even just check out the rerun, and you can check out the readings that we did there. And again, we're going to do one more reading if Hakima is able to sign up during this broadcast. And again, that is a sign up on the Patreon with a monthly micro donation, which supports the ongoing value that we provide here for the community. So by each of us contributing a little, we all contribute a lot. We all get a lot. Yeah, Hakima, I'm not exactly sure where you signed up, but I can definitely see there's no confirmation on my end. Like, it still shows it at 119 Patreon supporters. So go ahead and just go back to my profile, and then again, yeah, so I think, yeah, see, I think Hakima, I think you just created your profile, but I don't think you clicked the button to become a patron for my profile. So go ahead and just double check that by going to my profile directly at patreon.com/Brendan Culton. And we'll take a few moments for that. No rush. And for everybody here, if Hakima is able to sign up for that, then again, we'll do one more reading. And again, if we do have another Patreon sign up, then we'll do an extra reading. So there can still be 2. And if we do get 3 Patreon signups, then we'll do a special reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck as well. And again, anybody here, even if you want to sign up a little bit later on the Patreon, that is super, super appreciated as well. And then you can also get a private reading as an option. And again, when you sign up on the Patreon, you can also get one of these beautiful Light Guardian crystals. And again, those are available as normally on the quest item shop. Those are available as a pay what you wish scale between $35 and $60. And for the Lumerian ones, they are available as a higher amount. Like, they are available as a pay what you wish between like 50 and 100. So there's a lot of value there. And again, these are very, very rare and exclusive items that we create within the project, and they look super dope. And they're basically like alien Atlantean technology from the future brought back into the past, and they look super dope. And again, they're meant to like look very magical, and they're meant to be like little versions of Excalibur as well, and little lightsabers. So again, you can get one of these when you sign up for the Patreon as an extra pay what you wish. So you could literally sign up for the Patreon for like $3, and you could get one of these for like $1 if you wanted to. Again, if you pay a little bit more, it definitely helps with shipping. And again, it's also something where when you sign for the Patreon, you can also get a 25% discount for the quest item shop. And I'll just post here because the quest item shop is something that I encourage people to check out. And again, by being a Patreon supporter, having that discount, that's a lifelong discount. And that's at questitemshop.com. And then again, at the quest item shop, you can also get the other items such as the shift buttons. So here's some of the shift buttons. You can see they all got consciousness shifting symbolism on them. These are tools that we have made for you to be able to help evoke synchronicities. So simply by you wearing these, you can leave them places, you give them to people, they evoke conversation, they evoke synchronicity. And you can see here, like, I've made these new ones, the Ask Me About ones. This one, Ask Me About Esoteric Knowledge. So you can imagine if you were like sitting next to a person on a bus and you saw them with this button, you would see that as a beacon for you, that for them to be able to like let you know that they are interested in the shift, in consciousness, in expanding our minds, in awakening to who we are. So in the same way, if you were to see someone else with a button like that, I'm sure you would, easily acknowledge and recognize them if you saw them out in public. So ask me about the illusion of reality. That was like very literal. There's other ones. There's even one that says like ask me about psychedelics and ask me about DMT as well. And yeah, here's some like cool Mandela ones. You can see I got the Ouroboros on. And again, when you sign up for the Patreon and you get a Light Guardian crystal, I'll also include some shift buttons with your package. And you can see the beautiful Siriantra. You can see this one here. This is the Time Is Now, or it's Monday, depending on how you look at it. And here's like a beautiful Mandela, like kind of talisman medallion type thing. And so they're all meant to like be very magical. And there are a lot of different designs. Here's a very cool one. Here's like a beautiful like spirit tree from our friend Lewis Dyer, who is one of our resident artists within the Paradigm Shift Central community as well. And here's a super cool Photoshop image of one. I made this image back in 2009. It's basically kind of like the story of us, the individual standing on the checkerboards of society between the two pillars of knowledge. Before them is politics, and behind politics is ancient knowledge or ancient truth, and behind ancient knowledge, and then behind ancient knowledge is universal truth, which you can see as kind of like the flower of life up in the sky. So this is like us standing there with our connection to the higher conscious ideas in this present moment, in power, on the checkerboards of society, shifting the paradigms. So very cool. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, and here's a very popular one, the free hugs button. Yeah. So again, even if you want one of those buttons are super cheap. You can order those individually from questitemshop.com. And again, when you sign up on the Patreon, you also get a discount, 25% discount or higher, depending on how much you sign up for. So Hakima, let me know in the chat if you are in the process of still signing up for the Patreon, and then we'll do one more reading. And if anybody else here wants to sign up for the chat, let us know. Jessica, thanks so much for tuning in on Facebook. For those of you tuning in on Facebook, again, we've done 2 readings so far. And if we get one more person signed up for the Patreon, then we will do another reading. And Hakima is in the process of working the Patreon. So I think we're going to be doing one more reading. But again, we're just kind of like hanging out in the meantime. And for those of you who haven't yet, be sure to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Brendan Culleton. Again, for those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm a full-time conscious media creator. I facilitate the Paradigm Shift Central community. And again, this is a community of people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness. And we help feature inspirational conscious media. We do interactive broadcasts. Percy, thank you so much. I just see your message. I'm going to go back and read that later. And yes, many synchronicities, dude. Thank you so much. Super excited to be able to chat a little bit more with you. And definitely again, thank you for supporting on the Patreon as well. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, no rush on that, Percy. Sweet. Thanks again, brother, if you're still listening to this. Again, Percy is one of the people who is in the chat, and he's one of our recent Patreon supporters. So for anybody here, let me know where are you tuned in from. Go ahead, just leave a comment here real quick about where you're tuned in from, and allow me to just take a quick break as I just kind of just rest my voice for a second. This takes again, I appreciate everybody here acknowledging the energy that goes into doing these broadcasts. This is a show, this is a performance, this is entertaining, this is fun. And again, when you tune into these, I want you to be able to feel a degree of excitement and inspiration and joy and happiness. And I want people to be able to tune into these broadcasts, at the very least, just knowing that they'll smile. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. So Percy, awesome. We'll see you around, Percy, if you're heading out. And thank you so much, brother. Percy, if you want to share any links into the chat before you head out, please feel free. All right. So like I said, we're just standing by. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, thank you so much. Again, we'll be doing another live broadcast later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let's see, how many people do we got on YouTube right now? So we've got about, yeah, we've got about 10 people tuned in right now across multiple platforms. I'm not exactly sure how many people are tuned in on Twitch. I'll check real quick. I don't normally check. And then again, for anybody here, please feel free to let me know if you're in the process of signing up for the Patreon. And awesome. Patsy tuning in from Jakarta. Very cool. I'm not even sure where Jakarta is, to be honest. Allison tuning in from Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much, Allison. Appreciate you being here. And again, thank you to those of you supporting on Patreon. Thank you for those of you who are connecting as leading members as well. Again, we got our broadcast coming up this Thursday. If anybody here is interested in being involved with the discussion about talking about the global climate crisis / March, please feel free to let me know. And again, that is the priority for that is for leading members, but I'm keeping things open. I want to be able to see who else might be interested in jumping in, because it's an important discussion to be able to have. And I'll be creating some links for that a little bit later today. So stay tuned for that. That'll be Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, if you're tuning into this on Facebook, please feel free to send me a friend request, but also send me a direct message. Otherwise, I won't accept your friend request. That way, because I get enough friend requests, and it's hard for me to tell who is who. So let me know and just be like, hey, I was tuned into your broadcast, and I really appreciate what you're doing, and then I'll add you as a friend. So let's check in. And Hakima, if you're still there, let us know in the chat where your status is at with signing up for the Patreon. And for anybody else here, let me know. So for anybody else here, if you're interested in signing up to the Patreon, maybe at a later date, maybe in a month from now, maybe in 2 months from now, go ahead, just let me know in the chat. And again, for those of you who haven't yet, you can check out the Patreon at the screen, the links down below. Which corner am I pointing in? I always forget. I am pointing in that corner right there, that link right there. That's a link. So all right, very cool. Okay, dokie. All right, so again, we're just hanging out here. Again, we will do one more reading if we get one more person signed up for the Patreon. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up for this broadcast, but we'll be back a little bit later today. Again, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another reading. So thank you again, everyone. Yeah, and there's some awesome readings there. And if anybody wants a screenshot from the readings, please feel free to let me know. Actually, I feel like there's I think I have to send. Oh yeah, that's where I have to make sure I send that person a screenshot from a recent reading so that they can read that. So again, let's check in. I think things are beginning to wind down, and if that's the case, that's totally okay. That just means I get to again switch gears and go get some lunch. And and okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of side work here. So again, if anybody here, let me know if you're interested in signing up for the Patreon. If you're just looking for a general reading, be sure to tune in later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be doing some more readings there. Or again, even just go check out any of the past readings. You could literally just kind of like check out a past reading, and through that you can still get some insight. There's always insights available. Okay, I'm just doing a little bit of side work here. I'm just making sure that I send the info for someone who was asking for a reading that we did yesterday. It's to one of our Patreon supporters, actually. So, all right. So, Hakima, let me know if you're still in the chat. If anybody here, if you're still in the chat, just go ahead. Let me know. Okay, so like I said, if there's no new Patreon signups in the next couple minutes, then we will be wrapping up this broadcast, but we'll be back again later tonight at 10 p.m. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. Thank you again, everyone, for taking part. Yo, Cafe, thank you so much for joining in on Instagram. And give me 2 seconds here as I'm just taking a quick screenshot to be able to send the write-up for one of the readings that we did yesterday to a friend. Cool. All right, here we go. All right, so last 3 minutes for anybody here. Allison, you're still here. Thank you so much, Allison. And again, if anybody here, if you're just interested in signing up for the Patreon at one point, like in the future, please feel free to let me know at any point. And that's always super appreciated. And again, even if you want like a private reading as well. And again, the Patreon, you can literally sign up for just like $3 as well. So it's super definitely like flexible options there. Allison, thanks for holding space. Appreciate it. All right. Okie dokie. All right, so last call. If we have anybody else looking to sign up for the Patreon, now is the time. And again, that will do one more reading for the community. And if not, that's totally okay. And then we will wrap up the broadcast in a couple minutes. So, Natalia, if you have a particular question, please feel free to DM me if you would prefer. Actually, I would prefer that if there's like something in particular that you have to ask me. Just go ahead and send me a DM. There we go. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, so for everybody here, just sending you lots of good vibes. Thank you so much. Hey, for those of you remembering dreams, energy, mentality, tuning in on Instagram, we're just getting close to wrapping up this broadcast. Again, we did a couple awesome readings so far during this broadcast. And again, we're standing by. I'm not sure if Hakima is still with us, but if Hakima is signing up for the Patreon, we'll do one more reading. Awesome. Allison says, I'm interested in signing up at one point in the future, hopefully not too long. Allison, thank you. Yeah, Allison, I was kind of like, I'm like, Allison, like, I feel like Allison's going to sign up eventually. I just kind of like caught that feeling, right? So, Allison, thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. And again, like, even if there's like, Allison, if you're interested in like kind of, again, like being like a content creator within the community, then let me know. Because again, like the leading member option may be something of interest to you. Because I'd love to be able to like have you on air during the circles, like talking about the events that you're doing with the kids. Because again, that inspiration is like valuable inspiration for other people as well. So thank you again, everyone. Again, last call on this. Sweet, awesome. And so thank you again. We're at 119 Patreon supporters, working towards our goal of 150. If anybody does want to sign up, if you're able to sign up before the end of the month, that's a bonus because that's when the donations process. Otherwise, the next donations will process in November. So I love how people are like, Allison's like, I love your little lightsaber crystals. Yes, that's exactly what they are. They are little lightsaber crystals, and they're supposed to look like little lightsabers as well, too. So, all right. Thank you again for those of you tuning in on Instagram. We're gonna wrap up this broadcast on Instagram, and yeah, again, this is just like the final minutes of the broadcast. But be sure to tune in later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another live broadcast that we shall do. And remember dreams. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. And yeah, I've been definitely, it's good to see like familiar names and people tuning into the broadcast. So thank you again, everyone, so much for tuning in. Side note, I need to get a haircut. All right. So I'm going to wrap up this broadcast on Instagram. Thank you so much for remembering dreams, and for everybody tuning into this in the future, wishing you an awesome day. And yeah, tune in a little bit later and go to my Instagram story, swipe up and subscribe, and you can sync up there. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Much love. All right, so with that said, awesome. Allison's like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. So for everybody here, thank you again. This is, yeah, we're going to wrap this up now. And I'm going to shift gears and get back into working on editing the video for the global climate strike. That's a very important video that we are working on. And Hakima, last call. Hakima, if you're still here in the chat, let us know. Because I haven't heard from you in the last little bit. And yeah, and thank you again, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. So awesome. All right. So for those of you who are here, many blessings, much love. Be sure to check out more at paradigmshiftcentral.com, and you can connect with the team. Connect with our network. You can join in on our live chat or our team chat as well. And yeah, stay tuned because we'll be doing a lot more awesome stuff and creating a lot more awesome value to be able to share with the community. So cool. All right. So with that said, thank you again, everyone. If you want to just express any gratitude in the comments, please feel free to do that. You can just put in some comments. Just be like, yeah, thank you. Go team. Woo, 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 woo. And yeah, it is always felt, it is always appreciated. So thank you for holding space. Allison, Natalia, people on Facebook who are still tuned in right now. I can't see who's tuned in right now, but thank you as well for those of you who shared this, for those of you who simply tuned in. And again, be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet. Follow me on Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man. Check out the Patreon when you can. Cool, Allison. Yeah, Allison, I think you sent me a friend request just recently. Did you yet? No, or make sure that you do that, Allison, because I saw that you shared. I think you shared the broadcast. But yeah, okay, cool. So Allison, we'll definitely keep in touch there. And yeah, all right. Good job, everyone. Sending you so many good vibes. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters for helping allow this content to be continuously provided for the community. Let us continue to ripple this inspiration further out there into the world. And for everybody here, many blessings. Much love. Yo, Skylar, you're just tuning in. Skylar, we're literally just about to wrap this up. Like, we were just waiting to see if there was going to be another Patreon sign up. And we've already done 2 readings. And they were good readings. And again, we're working towards our Patreon goal, as you know. And yeah, but we're going to wrap this up real quick. So unless anybody else just wants to like throw a Patreon donation in real quick in the next minute. But other than that, I'm totally cool with shifting gears, and I'm going to go get myself up to the library and do some work on the global climate march video that I'm working on. So Skylar, one of our recent Patreon supporters, thank you so much as well. Can you send the screenshot? Sorry, I just want Skylar, you're looking for the screenshot. What screenshot are you looking for? Just to clarify, like, are you looking for a picture of the reading? Is that what you're looking for? Not exactly. If you just want to clarify, because as always, you can always like check out the recordings as well. Cool. So we'll just take one extra second here. Allison, thank you so much. Yeah, Allison, you can. Did you send me a friend request? And oh, okay, yeah. Natalia, I'll send you the screenshot, Natalia, as well. Aloha to Utkarsh. Thank you so much for joining in. We're just wrapping up this broadcast again, unless oh, Skylar, did I not send you your card the other day? Okay, that's for a second I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah, okay, because you didn't ask for it the first time, so that's probably yeah, okay. What Skylar, what card did we pull for you? Was it the I'm like trying to remember, right? Like pulled quite a few cards in the past few days. Skylar, remind me which card we pulled for you. And I will get that for you absolutely right away. I'll send you this picture of it. And I'm gonna do that right now for Natalia as well. So we gonna find that card for her. And yeah, Skylar, Swords 4. Okay, yes. That's right. Man, Swords 4 popped up a couple times. Like it's literally popped up at least like 2 or 3 times in the last week, which is pretty cool. All right, Princess of Swords there. Thank you, Skylar, for reminding me. See, I appreciate it. This is why we need team. All right, let's see here. Man, these cards are awesome. I love these cards. This is such a powerful deck. All right. Thank you again, everyone. Oh, Allison. Oh, is that what's happening, Allison? I'm at my 500 friend limit. Okay, Allison, send me a direct message then, because that's just as good, and I'll make sure I add you as a friend. Yeah, I need to remove my friend. I need to change some of that so that more people can send the request. That's right. Okie dokie. All right, 4 of Swords is in here somewhere. Apparently, I went past it. Let me try and find this again. Ute Karsh, thank you so much for tuning in. We're just getting close to wrapping up the broadcast. Again, if somebody else wants to sign up for the Patreon real quick in the next minute, we can do one more reading for the team and for you. However, otherwise, you can tune in a little bit later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. And cool, yeah, Skylar, no worries. Everyone's so busy kicking butt. All right, where is that card? Okay. It's in here somewhere. All right, so thanks again, everyone. You guys are awesome. There it is. Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, Percy pulled the 4 swords too. Man, we should just like do a reading where just like every single day we just pull the 4 swords. This is like, oh, another valuable reminder. Okay, and then it's gonna all right, so give me 2 seconds here. Skylar, I'm gonna send that over to you in a second. Oh yeah, my voice. Yeah, I can feel my voice going. Excuse me. So again, for anybody here, Utkarsh, if you're interested in getting a reading on air or just interested in checking out more of what I'm doing to help assist with the shift in consciousness, go ahead and check out my Patreon. And you can sign up there. And thank you again to our recent Patreon supporters. We got Percy, we got Rebecca, we got Paul, we got Skylar. All right, so Skylar, I'm just sending you your reading over in 2 seconds. All right, let's see here. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, for everybody here. Okay, Allison, you DM'd me. Perfect. Thanks, Allison. I shall reply to that. Perfect. Got it. Sweet. Awesome. Thanks, Allison. Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clear up some of my friend requests. Cool. All right, so for anybody else who's just like happening to tune in, again, we're kind of near the end of our broadcast. I appreciate everybody tuning in whenever you get a chance. As always, you can always go back and check out past recordings. And Natalia, I'm gonna send you the image as well. And again, we're gonna wrap this up in the next minute. Oh, 2 seconds. Cool. All right. Okay. Thanks again, everyone. Like I said, we're gonna wrap this up. Blessings, blessings. Yes. Tarsh, thank you so much for tuning in. Karsh, thank you so much. And give me 2 seconds here. I'm just sending this card over to Natalia. All right, so we're gonna wrap up this broadcast. For those of you who are just tuning in, be sure to tune in a little bit later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another reading. And and if you are looking for a private reading or you want to be able to jump the line for tonight's reading, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon when you get a chance. And again, that is at patreon.com/Brendan Colton. You can see the link on screen there. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to just send me a direct message and make sure that you follow me on other accounts as well, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And with that said, we are going to wrap up this broadcast. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Even those of you who may just be joining in right at the very end. And again, next time that we do a broadcast later tonight, please feel free to join me in helping share the broadcast to various groups. While I am still temporarily blocked from sharing to Facebook groups, so the team effort there goes a long way. Thank you so much. And yeah, so again, if anybody wants to sign up for the Patreon, we'll just put the link into the comments one last time. And go ahead and check that out. Even if you're not just like ready to sign up right yet, go ahead and check out the Patreon. And again, when you sign up for the Patreon, you can also get the super awesome Light Guardian crystals. Again, available as a pay what you wish once you sign up for the Patreon. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, again, for being here, for being a part of the community. Be sure to check out more at ParadigmShiftCentral.com. All the links are available through my Patreon. And stay tuned. We got a lot more awesome content and value coming your way. We got another broadcast later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stick around for that. And yeah, we'll be doing some more readings straight from the chat and also being able to help direct more support to the Patreon as well. So be sure to check out the Patreon when you can. Sign up, help us continue to reach our objectives on there as we continue to provide awesome value with the community and continue to inspire each other to continue to step into our power and to continue to choose to be the change that we wish to see in the world. So that is the intention of this broadcast. So building a global team of shifters. So all the fellow shifters, Light Guardians, I see you. I honor you. I thank you so much for holding this space. This is all just practice, even for me. So thank you for allowing us to grow together as a team. And until next time, as always, keep it shifty, and I will see you in the future. If you have any questions, please feel free to just send me a message. Much love, peace, and wholeness. Thanks again. Go team. Woo! Sending you many good vibes for an awesome day ahead. All right. I'll see you soon. Take care. Much love.